Okay, so I think we can start.
Okay, great. Okay, do you want me to start, Anna?
Yes, please.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. We're really pleased to see you in our Convergence session this afternoon. We also hope that other people will join in throughout the session if they want to. We thought it'd be really nice if we started off by introducing ourselves, and it's great to see that Ian's joined us and that Grant in particular. We really want to thank you because it's 1 o'clock in the morning in Australia, and we're really impressed with your dedication that you're here, so thank you. Okay, I think it would be really helpful then if we kick off with who we all are. My name is Sarah Uni, and in the daytime I am a university lecturer and I teach on an education studies degree, and I'm also the program leader for a master's course in education practice where I work with serving teachers in the evenings. And this teaching is very traditional and face-to-face, so I'm really delighted to be in this MOOC so that I can learn how to make the face-to-face teaching more online and blended, and to get the students to interact more out of the sessions. So that's me. Anna, do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay. So I'm Anna, and I'm one of the facilitators. Normally, well, day-to-day job is teaching languages and teaching study skills in particular at the University of Glasgow. But I also help my colleagues and students to use technology in the teaching of learning. And I also train teachers, language teachers, how to become successful, hopefully, online tutors. And yeah, so that's why I'm here on the MOOC, hoping to help others and also learn a few things myself. Okay?
Thanks,
Thank you.
Anna. Gemma?
Hello, everybody. I'm Gemma. I work at the Open University of Catalonia, and in this project of hands-on project, I'm offering general support to the MOOC, and I'm also a facilitator in the Catalan group. And today I'm here because I want to give you some help with some aspects of the technologies you're using in the MOOC. So nice to meet you.
Great, thanks, Gemma. Grant, are you back? You're back on now?
Yes,
Great.
I had a technical difficulty at this end, but I fixed that now, so we're back in action.
Great. Well, welcome. Please tell us about yourself.
Just me personally. Yes, I live in Australia. I'm engaged in the MOOC from Australia. I'm a high school teacher. I teach mostly 17, 18-year-old students in graphic design and maths and computer science.
So that's a lot of expertise you're bringing to the group, Grant. We're really, really impressed. Thank you. I was very impressed with the group, by the way, actually. Great. Thanks, Grant. Ian, are you there? Have we lost Ian? Has he left the group? It says on the chat window in the side, it says he's left and joined and left and joined. Okay, I think he's not there. So, Miria, can we go on to you?
Hello, I'm Neja, and I'm going to help with the Hangouts and all the videos from the hands-on MOOC.
Great, thank you, Miria. Okay, what we wanted to do next was to ask people how they'd been getting on and how you found the course so far. So, Grant, you're the person with us at the moment who's had it from the participants' perspective. Would you mind sharing with us how you've got on?
Yes, thank you. It's been really good, actually. I've enjoyed it. I've done a couple of other MOOCs in the past, but I've found this one to be quite different in feel. It's probably a little bit more collaborative, I think, than some of the other MOOCs, and yeah, it's been quite good. I'm not sure. Did you want me to talk a little bit about how the interface works and that sort of thing?
Yeah, we're really keen to learn from you, Grant, particularly if you've got experience in other MOOCs. That's really helpful feedback for us because those of us that are on the other side of the project will be writing a report at the end. So we really value your feedback. And I'm make a note then that what you're saying is that in one way this is different, is that it is more collaborative. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just from the platform point of view, I'm still kind of getting my head around it a bit. It's quite a complex interface compared to some of the other MOOCs, but in a way it's probably more powerful. And there's a couple of little odd features that I had to fiddle with. I think just the other day I was having some trouble actually putting one of my assignment submissions into the journal, and it took me a little while before I realised that it was actually I thought I was adding Module 3, and it said Module 3, but I had to scroll right down to the bottom to find the actual Module 3 that I'd done, and it kept just telling me that I had no submission when I was putting it in, so that was a bit frustrating, but it was only when I scrolled down that I could see that. And so I think in some cases the users get shown a bit too much information in terms of menu options and things they can click on, but that's something that perhaps could be worked through. Yeah, I think other than that, I just click around usually. I'm just a bit of an explorer, so I just click around, and I think that's probably the best way to get to know most bits of software. You can't break anything, so you just keep clicking on things, and finally something does what you hoped it would do. That's fine. For the MOOC in general, I think the other MOOCs that I've done have been pretty conservative in the sense that there's video shoots and a quiz, and then at the end you get to do an assignment which locks, and then everybody else marks it. And I mean, that's fine, and I learn things from that, but I think this whole process of actually submitting assignments through the forum is really quite powerful, because it means that the forums themselves stay better focused on what they're meant to be about, and it also means that me as a user, I'm getting constant feedback from different people on each piece of work that I do, and that means I can go back over pieces of work and sort of fiddle with them and change them and adjust them as I'm working through the MOOC. So it's not a matter of finishing something and handing it in and then seeing what people think of it. It's more a matter of seeing what people think of it and then being able to go back and respond to those comments. And so in that way, I think that this MOOC is a lot more formative in its assessment, and I'm really enjoying the idea of being able to revisit work and modify it and change it and let the whole thing evolve, which I think is really powerful. It's really good having the facilitators. The people running MOOCs are usually fairly anonymous sort of people behind the system, and it's hard to get in touch with them, but I'm feeling in this MOOC that there's real people running it, which is really nice. Just looking through the things that I'm wanting to mention. Yeah, I think the feeling I get too is that in some courses there's a lot of people that are just wanting to get a certificate and paste it on their wall, and it's always nice to get a reward for the work that we've done, but I really sense that in this MOOC there's a lot more people trying to actually learn something rather than just get a certificate which they can add to their CV. And I think that's much more powerful. It's sort of a pet hate of mine where people just do courses to pass, and that leads people to do whatever they can to pass, which sometimes avoids actually learning anything. They start getting into plagiarism and that sort of thing, and that's pointless. It's just wasting their time. So I think in that respect this is really good. Yeah, I think that's probably about all. In terms of the actual activities, the My Dream activity I thought was really good. And I had a lot of fun doing that, but I think it probably helps if people come to the MOOC with something in mind that they want to do. And I was a bit lucky, and I had a bit of a project running which I was able to just apply to the MOOC. And some people I think are struggling a little bit because they're not quite sure what they're supposed to do, or they haven't really got anything in mind to do. But I suppose what I'd say to them is to not worry too much, because I think it's perfectly okay just to lurk and see what other people are doing. And get ideas that way, and then perhaps come around the second time with something then, and that would be fine. Yep, that's about it.
Okay, Grant, that's really, really helpful. So can I just summarise what I think I've understood you to say? That it has a collaborative approach, and that there are some technical glitches about needing to submit. which is something that Gemma's going to talk about a little bit in a minute. And we did talk about whether or not we might need to do another little video to help participants with that. Particularly, Grant, if you're very experienced in MOOCs and lots of online platforms, if you're finding that hard, then that makes me wonder if other people are as well, because other people won't have your level of expertise that are coming to this. And this might also help explain for us how come we've got 354 dreams, but only 14 are able to be seen. So that's something for us to think about. And what I also hear you saying is that this isn't just about instrumental learning for the sake of it to get the badge at the end. What you sense is that there's some perhaps deeper learning going on in this one.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Great. Okay, thanks for that. Anna, is there anything you want to say?
Oh, I really enjoyed listening to Grant, and it's really good to hear how the course is kind of going from the participants' perspective. And what you said, Grant, about the course being more of a journey, more of a process where you keep refining your ideas, working on them, not necessarily kind of being obsessed with building a polished product, but more enjoying the process. That really resonates with me, and I really like your approach to technology, just clicking, because it's pretty much similar to mine, even though I'm not. I don't have background in computer sciences, but yeah, it's clicking around, exploring. Not letting yourself get too frustrated. I always find that sometimes it's good to take a step back, make yourself a cup of tea, and start again, start clicking around. And yeah, as you say, I mean, you can't break it, but you can learn something, and it seems like that's your experience. So yeah, it's really good. It's really good to hear about that. And what else? I'm just looking at the notes I've taken while you were speaking. Would you maybe perhaps would you like to tell us a little bit more about your dream, Grant?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, a colleague of mine was talking to me at school about the idea of setting up a design hub, or a design space, as I call it, where students could study design as a discipline rather than within a particular media. They could actually study it as a general idea, and then perhaps move out into media later. Trouble is, of course, that takes money to build those things. So I thought perhaps we could actually produce it as a virtual space.
Okay.
And so I'm just using the VLE that gets provided for us, and I'm trying to just build a virtual space for students to collaborate in. One of the things with computing in education, I think, is that it really provides for really powerful collaborative tools. If we're just going to use them as word processors and publishers, then I don't see that there's any change in the pedagogy there. But if we can actually use the computer as a collaborative tool to facilitate that, then that's where it's really powerful. And I guess this sort of Google Hangout idea is an example of that. So I'm trying to develop an online space where students can actually collaborate and run chat sessions and store notes and exchange ideas and work on each other's notes and do that sort of thing, rather than just produce a pretty document which they can print out at the end of the day and do it pretty much in isolation. I think our curriculum doesn't really help students to work together very well.
Okay. Grant, have you had a chance to look at other people's dreams and comment?
Yes, I have. Well, there's the 3 that I've reviewed.
Yeah.
And I flicked through the journal and have a look at some of the others. Some of them are very complete, and they've got a real focus and they know what they want to do. I sense that others are sort of drifting a little bit and are not quite sure what they're aiming to do. But I guess that doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of putting something down and getting an idea of some sort down, and then that can evolve and change over time. And yeah. The idea of finishing something is an old-fashioned idea, I think. We don't actually ever finish anything. We just keep changing and fixing it. And, yeah.
Great. Okay. Gemma, do you want to come in at this point?
Okay, perfect. So what I wanted to show you is just how to send the peer mentoring activity, because as Sarah says, you have a lot of dreams published in the ILDE, but there are just few that are published in the Canvas. So you cannot do the reviewing of the peer mentoring. So I'm going to share the screen to explain how to do that. So let's go. So now you can see my screen. This is the Canvas. I think this is familiar for you. So in activity 3, there's an activity that says Dream Bazaar. This is an activity based in a discussion that encourage you to publish the link to your dream for others to see it and to comment it. And also in activity 4, we are asking you again to publish your the link of your dream. But this time is not a discussion area, but is a peer mentoring activity. That means that when you click on this activity, you find that there are the different activities in different language. You have to click on the English one. Then here you have the peer mentoring activity description, and you have the submit an assignment option. Here, if you click, the system says that you have to send the link to your dream. So that allows the system to recognize you and then to assign you 3 reviewers of your activity. So one thing is to go to activity 3 and share your link in the discussion, and another thing is to go to the activity 4. So if you want to have a peer review, you have to publish your dream here in the activity 4. Also, thanks Grant for all the information you gave to us, because this is very useful for us to improve the environment and also the presentation of the activities.
So Gemma, is that the same if we scroll down to week 2, investigate and the personas, and publishing the personas?
You mean the peer mentoring your persona?
Yes.
Yes, it's the same. The same happens here.
Do you just want to run through it?
Yes, it's because every week you have a peer mentoring activity that works the same. You click here, then you access a general description of what peer mentoring is, then you select your language, and then you have the option to submit the persona, and then you receive the reviewer.
Great. Thank you for that, Gemma. That's really helpful.
Okay.
Marina, is there anything you want to add? Maybe she can't hear me. Anna, is there anything you would like to say?
All right. Sorry, I missed the I missed the Anna bit. Well, the only thing that comes to my mind is again, I've got a question for Grant. And his impressions of the peer mentoring activity, and what I mean, you've talked a little bit about it, but I remember last week we were talking about the diversity and people being from so many backgrounds and so many contexts, and there was a question from the audience asking about the kind of benefits of such a diverse group of participants, and obviously. So, and we were talking about whether that's whether that can be a problem or whether that's something positive. So, for example, Grant, having reviewed a couple of dreams, and also having your dream reviewed by people from other backgrounds. I mean, have you found this activity useful? Have you found it kind of beneficial in a sense that maybe it widened your perspective, or maybe it made you think about something else? Or what are your impressions of the peer mentoring, the benefits of the peer mentoring activity?
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, as I said, in other MOOCs, we submit our work, and then the peers assess it, and that's it's a bit stressful, because you've got to have trust in the people who are actually assessing your work, and they're very anonymous, and it's worked out okay. But in this situation, it's a little bit different because they're not really assessing, they're reviewing. And most people, I think, have one or two comments that they can make, and I can then read those and I can have a bit of a look at those and think, well, no, I don't agree with that, and that's fine. Or I can say, yes, that actually is a good point, and I can go back to my work and make some changes. So it is valuable in that respect, and it's also been really interesting to look at the wide, diverse range of work that people are doing. I mean, some of us live in countries where kids have got computers in their pockets, and it's really interesting to me to read the dreams and the ideas from people who are not in such a lavishly provided school, and they're all over the world where having a computer is a real luxury for them, and their dreams are a lot different. And I think it's really valuable for us to be aware of that, and that's one of the powerful things that happens in these MOOCs, where people are communicating across boundaries like that. We get a real feel for what's happening around the world, and makes us appreciate what we have got, and perhaps also people with less resources learn to use those resources a lot more effectively, and there's some lessons that we can learn there as well.
Grant, can I ask a question? Is there anything we can do to help less experienced online users with the environment, do you think?
Yeah, there are a few quirks. I mean, that thing that you just covered with submitting an assignment for peer assessment, that was one of the things that I struggled with initially too, because I'd done the dream and I'd submitted it and I got my little green tick, and it took me a little while to work out that I actually had to go to the next step and actually then transfer that across into the peer review module. And I guess in a way, my feeling is that Canvas is very modular in the way it's constructed, and sometimes you've got to actually do something and then go back up out of it and back down into another module to do something else. And whilst that structure is pretty, it's common to people that use computers a lot, perhaps people that are not used to these sort of environments might struggle with that a little bit. Usually what you need to do, I guess, is just to sit down with people and watch them use it, and have a little bit of a look, just do a bit of a diagram of the menu structure and just see if there's ways that it could be simplified and adjusted a little bit. Because oftentimes when modules get patched into packages, then there needs to be a bit of thought and some adjustment done to actually embed that seamlessly and make people unaware of the fact that they've changed into a different module. I don't know, it's not something I'm really expert at in terms of designing these things, but yeah. But at the end of the day, providing the videos and having the support from people that they can ask about it is going to be the thing that's important. And people don't need to know every module. I'm not really using the journal very much.
No.
Because I don't work that way, but other people are using it extensively. So yeah, so I haven't really done much in the journaling module.
Okay. So what you're saying is having the videos is key for those people that aren't familiar with the environment. And also I think that because people are used to hyperlinks where you just keep going and going and going, they're not used to going back, are they? And that structure that you've got in the environment.
Yes, that's right. I mean, people, they click through things.
Yeah.
You made actually that they click on and they don't keep in their head this kind of a tree diagram, if you like. And you've got to develop that. One of the things I've noticed with software is people always assume that they're talking to a computer, but we need to sort of realise that we're actually talking to a development team of people.
Yeah.
And once we get to think a little bit like the developers think, then we start to find our way around software a little bit more easily. And those of us who are sort of living in a Microsoft world, we tend to think like Microsoft people, and it always confuses me when I start using a Mac, for instance, because it's a different program, and I'm not used to that way of looking at things, so I find it difficult.
Yeah.
And I think Canvas is one of those things. We use the Fronter package where I am, and that's another. I think it's designed in Norway originally, and that confuses people in Australia a little bit too, because for the same sort of reason that it's a slightly different way of approaching things, and they put things in odd menus, and it doesn't make sense to us at first. Yeah.
What I would say, Grant, is a couple of things. We have teachers in the UK that use Fronter, and these teachers tell me the same thing, that they don't find it intuitive, and they do struggle with that. Secondly, for us on the development team of this MOOC, I think what you've said about a visual diagram, perhaps, of a tree, or to just show the navigation routes, and perhaps just to have that in the corner of the screen all the time, might be really helpful for people as well. Is that something that you think might be helpful, Gemma? Anna, I can't hear Gemma. Do we need to click on her?
Sorry. Yes, that's true that we identified that perhaps the first week you are struggling with all the technological tools, the ILDE and the canvas and all the information we are giving to you, and it would be great to have just like a tree that shows the organization of the course.
Yeah.
Yes, we think that we hope the second week it's easier for you, for the participants to understand how all the course is organized. But we keep that in mind to do a tree image of all the course. That's a good idea.
Great, thank you. Anna, is there anything you want to say?
Technological tools, the ILDE and the canvas and all the information we are giving to you, and it would be great to have just like a tree that shows the organization of the course.
Yeah.
Yes, we think that we hope the second week it's easier for you, for the participants to understand how all the course is organized. But we keep that in mind to do a tree image of all the course. That's a good idea.
Great, thank you. Anna, is there anything you want to say?
Technological tools, the ILDE and the canvas and all the information we are giving to you, and it would be great to have just like a tree that shows the organization of the course. Yes, we think that we hope the second week it's easier for you, for the participants to understand how all the course is organized. But we keep that in mind to do a tree image of all the course. That's a good idea.
Great, thank you. Anna, is there anything you want to say?
Technological tools, the ILDE and
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, Anya, I think there was a problem with the system. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it seems like we were on the loop.
Yes,
I was she's saying something.
I was hearing me again and again. Nothing happened.
But it seems like we are back.
Yes.
And I also there's a question from the audience from Uwe Richter. Okay, which shall I just read this? So Uwe, well, maybe it's not so much a question but a comment. Uwe says, I think the Canvas environment would improve if the left-hand navigation would stay there consistently. So left-hand navigation, while the sub-navigation, for example, in menus can sit below the menu, the main menu, or on the right side. But is that technically, probably that's a question for Gemma, is that technically possible?
Yes, this thing that they say that if the left-hand navigation would stay there, I think the left navigation stays always the same.
Yeah.
So Uwe,
Yeah, it does.
Yes, I don't know if you see that this navigation moves or changes sometimes, but it's a fixed navigation.
Navigation, while the sub-navigation, for example, in menus can sit below the menu, the main menu, or on the right side. But is that technically?
Sarah, please, can you mute your micro? I think the loop is because your micro. And navigation would stay there. Thanks. So I will check that. If something happens with the navigation, but I think the left side navigation is always the same, and the sub navigation, the menus, I don't know if it refers to the top menu, this is something fixed from the system that we cannot change. So the menu on the top is always the same, and we cannot do that to change it. So sorry.
Can I just, if I could just cut it, what it might be referring to is that when you're in the course, when you select course at the top, you get one menu, and when you select your group, you get a different menu.
Okay, okay, I understand that.
More associated with forums, and that might be what he's thinking of. And I mean, one of the things I found was that there actually are probably 4 or 5 different forums, and it's fairly easy to get lost in them. And I can see why they're all there, but you know, you can be in one forum and wonder why it looks different than the one you're in, because there's forums attached to the announcements and the discussions. And there's forums, yeah, there's comments in your peer review, that's a different forum, and so there's various different forums, and you can lose which forum you're in. It probably doesn't matter that much because they're all forums, but
Yeah.
that's a bit confusing. I'm not sure if there's a way of doing that better though. That's why I'm a bit reluctant to make suggest it as a big problem.
Thank you, Grant. Yes, I understand now. Yeah, you find a different menu if you go to the general course and if you go to the group one. And the menu of the group one, we cannot change this one. There is not an option to change it, this one. So that's why it's different. And we've been struggling with the Canvas because we wanted to do this course multi-language, and the system doesn't allow the multi-language easily. So that's why there are some things that it's difficult to do in the way that we would like to. And the menu is difficult to do the same in the group and in the course. But thank you for that.
I think Uwe has posted some comments in the questions and answers panel trying to explain what he means. So he says, when you go into the modules, the top menu goes. The submenu is that submenu is when you access the modules. So I don't know whether that helps with the answer or not.
Well, I don't know. Okay. So what we wanted to do in the Canvas is to create or to establish a central navigation that is based on modules, because we find that to do the multilingual, it is the better way to organize the content. So if there's another option, perhaps there's another option, but we find the best one to establish a submenu that is the modules. And we establish like this to make easier the navigation. But perhaps it's not the best, but we try to do that.
Okay, thank you. Right, we've got Ian back in the chat. Hello, Ian. Can you hear us?
No, he's left again. It says on.
Okay, so yeah, he's left. So it seems like you
might have some technical difficulties. Yeah. Grant, can I ask another question if that's okay and you don't mind?
No, I'm fine.
Great. Grant, how have you got on with the personas? Have you had a chance to do that activity and to look at other people's personas yet?
I've done my persona, and I've had a bit of a look through the others in the forum. Yeah, so yes, I have. I'm just waiting to put it through to peer review. I wanted to do it the other day, but that won't let me until the 7th.
Yes, I'm the same as well. I've done mine, and I need to publish mine too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading those. So again, Gemma, I'm wondering if it would be good then just to do another little video just showing people how to do that, like we've already talked about in today's session, because I think that would be really helpful.
Sorry, Sarah, video of what? I couldn't understand.
What you've already done today to show people how to publish their personas for the peer review activity.
Okay, okay.
You've already discussed it with us, but I think it's just that we need to make sure that's clear for the participants.
Okay, so I share my screen again?
No, I think it's fine for all of us that are in the Convergence session.
And okay, great. I understand now.
it's for us that are working in it to make sure that we can help the participants understand that process.
Okay, okay, perfect. I will do that.
Good. The other thing that Anna and I were talking about was trying to get, like you said, we've got 354 people that are in the IDLE community and environment, but only 14 that are in the Canvas environment. And we're thinking, well, in order to progress on, we need to bring more of them with us, don't we, really, so that we can go on to the future activities. So if anyone's got any ideas on how we can help people come forward, that would be really good. Because what we're worried about is that people might kind of fall at the first hurdle.
Mm.
So if anyone's got any ideas, then please chip in now or chip in the forums. It would be much appreciated.
Yes, I think that it will very helpful to show also how to add comments to the ILDE, just to motivate people to keep going working in the ILDE, and also insist that they work in this tool ILDE. But for others to see what they are doing in ILDE, they need to share the link to the ILDE activities in the discussions and also in the peer mentoring activities. So I think it's important participants to know that they are working in a ILDE, so they are going to work during these 5 weeks in the ILDE to develop their activity, ICT activity. But if they want to share all the project with the participants, they have to share the links in the Canvas.
Yeah, yeah, and it's about toggling between the ILDE environment and the Canvas environment, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, as they are very different tools.
Yeah.
They are not connected, so they have to open one and the other, and then try to copy all what they are doing in the ILDE. Well, the links to the ILDE.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that anybody would like to add at this stage? I'm aware that we're quite a small group today. There's not many of us here today. I hope there'll be more people next week. Again, does anyone have any ideas on how we? I mean, I'm so impressed with Grant. It's probably nearer 2 o'clock in the morning now, and here he is with us, which is fantastic. But it would be great if we could have more of us as well. Gemma, do we know about the other language groups, if there's more participants from there?
Well, there are groups that are smaller than the English one. And well, we have a lot different things in each language group. So in the Catalan, we are few participants, but they are quite active in the discussions and in ILDE. So, but in Greek, for example, they are very active. Well, it depends. It's a lot of diversity in each of the groups.
Yes. So. Sorry about my phone. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to mute my microphone a minute.
Hello, you've reached.
Okay, so.
Sorry, I wanted to mute the microphone about that. Sorry. Sorry, Anna.
No, that's fine.
Grant, we really appreciate having you, and we appreciate your expertise. And please feel free to help facilitate and be a really active participant. I know that we really value that.
Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate it. As I said, I'm enjoying it. I love learning stuff, and it's been a good exercise to be in this MOOC. And if I can think of any ways of trying to help people to engage, I'll pass those through. But I'm not sure if there's an easy solution to that problem.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's something that we can all be thinking about, isn't it, between now and the end of the MOOC? Because one of the things that I'm very aware of is around sustainability. How can we generate sustainability in a MOOC such that we can continue to do this after the life history of it, really? So what we've been thinking about is, do you think that teachers or participants would be interested in accreditation? Which I know is kind of slightly different to what you said, Grant, because you said what you liked about this one was it wasn't just working through and getting the badge for the sake of it, but was actually trying to engage people in deeper reflection, really.
Yeah, it's nice to get a certificate. I mean, I have got one on my wall from another MOOC, but I didn't even bother applying for the certificate in the second one that I did, and so I didn't see that there was that much point in it, really. I guess I'm in a slightly different situation, though, in that I'm obviously at the end of my career where CVs don't matter very much to me anymore, and if I was a young teacher, then I might approach it a little more differently. But yeah, the certificate in itself is not a problem, and it might be more of an attractive thing to people to get them to actually complete the MOOC. It's just there's always just that danger that the certificate becomes the end in itself for some people.
Yeah.
And I was really intrigued when I was in one MOOC, and I got into the Facebook group there, and it started off really well, but then it became preoccupied with how do I get the certificate, where do I get this, what's the point of getting the certificate, and then it degenerated even further into advertisements for Ray-Ban sunglasses and all sorts of odd things. So it didn't stay focused terribly well, and I think maybe the certificate there was a bit of a distraction, but on the other hand, perhaps people wouldn't have bothered joining it if they couldn't get the certificate at the end of it. So it's a hard question.
So for us as pedagogic or learning designers, for us it's about having something that is meaningful and worthwhile that leads to deep learning and tries to have activities that aren't superficial and doesn't lead to just instrumental learning for the sake of the badge at the end then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really helpful for that. I'm aware that it's my clock says it's nearly 2:45. I just want to check with everybody if there's anything that anybody else would like to cover. So Miria, is there anything that you would like to cover while we've got this opportunity of being together?
Sorry?
Is there anything that you would like to talk about while we're together?
I can understand you. I was reading a document right now, sorry.
Okay, don't worry. Gemma, for you?
Just only to say that if participants have any doubt about anything in the Canvas or ILDER or something referred to the activities, they can use the technological support discussions in Canvas, and we will try to answer as soon as possible.
Can I just say, I think you're fantastic on the technical team. You always get back to people very quickly, and you're very helpful. And I find that really, really supportive, because it means I know that if I'm clicking away and I can't find something, I know that I'll just ask you, and you say, look, just do this, and it's great. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anna, is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, I just wanted to. There's a question from Teresa. Is there any way to be sure that our project Dream is being peer mentored? And perhaps, well, in answer to this question, I think the little video Gemma is going to produce, and which we're going to make available on the forum, that will help Teresa and not only you, but other participants with those well, problems of publishing publishing the activity and submitting into the peer review, and hopefully this will also attract people's attention to the fact that once they publish the work is going to be reviewed. And that means they have people's work allocated to them for peer review as well. So it's a great opportunity to learn from each other and for each other. I really like that little quote, Sarah, you included in one of your posts at the very beginning. In terms of whether you can be sure, I think there are little icons next to the reviews. So if you have a green tick, correct me if I'm wrong, that means it has been, the reviews have been done, and if there is I don't remember, there's a yellow icon, Gemma is. I'm looking at Gemma to see whether she's nodding her head or not. There's a yellow icon that means that's in the process of being reviewed. Yes, is that correct?
Yes, is that correct? So if they send the activity, they will receive others activities to be reviewed. So once they have reviewed the others, they have the green tick that you said. So that's a way to know that they have the peer mentoring activity completed.
And maybe a little question related to that. And is there any notification being sent to the participants when this happens, or they just need to keep checking their the submission status, Gemma?
They receive a message in their email.
Okay.
Informing that they have activities to be reviewed.
Okay, so it might be a matter of also looking out for those messages, because they might land, for example, in the spam folder or something. So yes, just being alert and when looking at your emails. Other than that, well, I really hope that there will be more submissions, more assignments submitted to a peer review, because I think that's a great opportunity and a particular strength of this course, and it helps you engage with others and share experience, and what Grant was saying earlier about the collaboration. I think, yeah, that's the strength of the course and of learning. So.
Great, thank you for Anna. Grant, is there anything else you'd like to say before we finish the call today?
No, I'm finished. I've probably said enough.
No, we really value your feedback, and it's been really helpful. So thank you for that. Thank you everyone for coming today, and let's just keep going and talking to one another and doing what you've said, which is the real value is just to collaborate, isn't it, and to reflect on our ideas and to work together.
Thank you.
Thanks everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Bye.